Welcome to AI After Hours. My name's Polly Allen, and this is Yu Ying, Chen-Wynn. The two of us have put together this video podcast that we aim to both entertain and educate in the areas of AI. My name's Polly. I started my career over 20 years ago in software engineering, and I was a programmer for many years before moving into product. Most recently in corporate, I was working at Amazon's Alexa AI, and I led the team that developed and launched the first generative AI answers on Alexa in 2020. I left Alexa and found AI Career Boost. It's the first AI-focused career accelerator aimed at increasing diversity in AI careers and particularly in leadership in AI. It's been a wild journey, and along the way, I've been honored to meet some awesome folks. One case in point here is my excellent co-host, Yu Ying.
Welcome to AI After Hours. I am Yuying Chen-Wynn, and very similarly, I come from both a product and technology background for more than 25 years now. I actually started in product at Microsoft in Windows when Gates was still there yelling at people, and I got that job because the only thing I knew was that you did not have to code after coming out with a CS degree. So that's how I got into product. I've been in technology, fintech, and edtech. EdTech is where I got to start working with AI in terms of language learning, speech recognition, all of that. So I've been in this for close to a decade now. And I was most recently the chief product officer at Barnes & Noble Education DSS on the EdTech arm. Super thing, of course, is that now generative AI has gone completely crazy, but it is actually more than that. So we want to kind of come in and demystify AI. There's tremendous potential. So hopefully people will learn and create great products that people love. And we also get to make fun of the wacky ones along the way, and hope you join us for the journey.
Yu Ying and I were at a conference recently and a couple of margaritas. We were kind of riffing on a bunch of different ideas and coming up with wacky startup ideas. One of the guys at the back was like, you guys are hilarious. So we think we're hilarious, and at least one other person thought we were hilarious. So we're like, we have to start a channel, of course.
Yeah, because that means we have a following of one. We just got to find his contact info. I believe his name was Bob, so I'm pretty sure we can find him and thank him for the start of this. And if we get more of the following, then all the better. We'll send him a t-shirt.
We were going to kick off today by talking about some of the headlines that we've seen in the past week and just kind of our takes on it. I think Yu Ying, you have the first one. You want to kick us off?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Is it Jeffrey? It's not George. Jeffrey Hinton leaving Google, title as the godfather of AI leaving Google. Now, what happens with a lot of these headlines is the headline itself alone makes people kind of speculate about all of this. Oh, he's leaving Google because Google is doing terrible things and AI is going to kill us all. But that's the problem. A lot of people don't actually read what he said and why that was done. So if you look into it. So this is a gentleman who is from the academic side of AI, been working part-time with Google. And in terms of this parting, it was not really any positioning around whether or not Google is doing something poorly, but just so that he can be an independent voice. And what he says isn't tied to Google. He actually says very specifically that Google is acting quite responsibly around the AI. And I can tell you that the bar in terms of how they're releasing it, they're much more conservative, it hallucinates less, etc. The fun thing though is when your news anchors talk to him about it, they tend to focus on the one line that he had said of AI is going to kill us all. But if you actually go into kind of the video where he's like, okay, so here's all the process by which if AI got smart enough, it can do the workaround on the safeguards. It can create code that does this. It can, etc. It's not a statement that AI has that capability today or will do today. However, there is a portion of it that I do think the caution is warranted, which is in the application in healthcare, where it can easily be used to create really, really great medicine and speed that up. But anytime when you're dealing with those kind of chemicals on the flip side, you can also at the same time create bioweapons faster as well. So there's definitely risks to the power, depends on the application. That one I think is much more realistic in terms of what we need to safeguard against. But as usual, people are reacting to the headlines. Even the one I saw was, Jeffrey Hinton says AI will kill us all. But if you get into it, It's not that bad. All right.
I had the same temptation as you, Yuying, to like, I saw the headline, I was like, I got to go read the interview. I'm always amazed how this literally is like a very giant innovation. This is going to be compared to the Industrial Revolution. And I was like, and even so, our media has managed to overhype it. Bravo, North American media, of overhyping something that's absolutely, incredible and world-changing. But there is just this obsession with focusing on the fear-based headlines, and specifically that science fiction narrative of this monster that's going to come from the future and destroy us, as opposed to like the real and present threats and opportunities. It's interesting that Jan LeCun, who's equally as revered, has had a little more tempered approach of saying, like, these are interesting models, they are powerful models, I am not afraid of them running rampant and running out of control. He's much more focused on, like, of course, if we're going to use them, we do need to worry about misinformation and fraud and agency and in terms of like being aligned with human values. But he's not sounding the alarm to that kind of extent.
It just shows the news. They're not going to quote the other guy who says it's fine.
Exactly.
Right. So this next one is for you, the Google leak.
Yeah, I just saw this yesterday. So there was a leaked document from Google. And the main headline has been, "We have no moat, and neither does OpenAI." It's a really interesting read. Definitely a lot of folks have said, if you don't read anything else this week, definitely check that out.
I'm going to ask you to explain moat a little bit, because we're product people. We know what that means, but
yeah, exactly.
Product.
So when you're building a business, you definitely have to figure out, like, what is something you can build that other people can't build just as easily and cheaply as you have, or your business will quite easily be taken away, right? And so this question of what is the moat in AI today has shifted really rapidly just over the past few weeks, where when ChatGPT came out from OpenAI and had all these users, like, one moat might be massive adoption in a product that needs feedback, human feedback, to get better, right? So
the network effect.
Right, 100 million users on your product, and no other people, have near.
They have crossed the billion.
They're at the billion now, hey? Yeah.
Yeah, they have more users than TikTok.
Wow, that's incredible. And so, given that they can use, people using it as feedback to improve the model, they're going to be light years ahead of anyone else who doesn't have that kind of user base, right? So that is an example of a moat where people were like, oh, of course, they've got the best model. What has changed, though, is that not just like commercial competitors coming out, but open models that are free to use and openly shared, starting with the Llama model that Meta shared for academic purposes, have been shown to be way smaller, way more efficient, and actually produce as good or nearly as good results for a lot of use cases. And that's essentially what this memo that leaked is showing, is basically internally they are aware at Google, oh, hey, all this effort and time and money we've been putting in to build these massive, massive models, we don't actually know how we're going to make more money than anybody else, because anybody can just go use an open source model. People are more and more able to kind of just build whatever program they need themselves, right? Using these tools for very cheap. It's upending a lot of the software industry as a whole. Like, VCs have kind of been going, oh, we don't know where to put our money. 2 weeks ago, we've been like competitors to ChatGPT, but now maybe that's not worth anything if anyone can just go build their own for basically free, right?
So, so it's being called the AI arms race, right? It reignited the big tech company, Google, Microsoft on the GPT side. But really what we're saying is there's no race. There's no race. It's all the same.
Right, exactly. And I think too, you combine that with Sam Altman came out a few weeks ago saying, like, the age of big models is over. Too bad if you missed it. It's over now. But that idea of, like, we've kind of milked what we can in terms of accuracy and logic out of these big models by just making them bigger. Like, as we are making them bigger and bigger, we're seeing diminishing returns. So if bigger isn't better and small is good enough, and small is now cheap, anyone can now develop their own. And the upshot of the Google memo was, we wasting our time building these giant models that we can't iterate quickly on. And even just training models from scratch is kind of especially big ones, is kind of the very long, painful process.
And very expensive. I read GPT-4 takes more than 100 million to train. So here's the thing, interesting thing about the product strategy piece if you're playing in the AI space. It used to be that the data was the asset. So if you could have a specific data set that was for a specific case, your model was going to have the differentiation because nobody else had that accumulated model. So agriculture is the big one, right? So if you're specialized in grapes, for example, in terms of detection, then that could be your mode of differentiation because it is not that easy to accumulate that data. The problem with the generative text models, it's so big, it has all the information in it. So right now we're saying, okay, you can fine tune it for specific cases, then those cases become the differentiation. I'm like, okay, but how much better does that get? So if you're going from 80% to 90%, who will that really matter to?
Yeah, I know. And like, it's I find like there's either use cases where you're like, really the expectation is 100%, right? Or there's definitely cases where humans fail too. So if you're replacing human judgment, like, are they 80%? Are they 90%? If you want to replace doctors, if 80% isn't good enough, is 90% good enough?
Right. And the thing is, if you're always going to have the human component, then is there the ROI to spend the money to fine tune it from 80 to 90%? You're going to have a human there anyways. They can just cover it.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Do we want to move to our next thing?
Sure.
So the TED Talk, this is, how do you say her name?
Ying Choi, I think.
I feel like I should know how to say it. I feel terrible. This is a great TED Talk, especially the shockingly stupid examples from GPT. But her explanation of why the AI doesn't have common sense is my favorite. It is also, if you're going to worry about AI killing humans for paper clips and taking over the world, this is the one I find as a really good summary and helps you think through why it doesn't do what it does. And maybe when you understand it, you can have ideas about how to prevent it, or at least laugh at it when it is being stupid. I quite enjoy this one, and I hope that after this talk went live, OpenAI immediately went, hey, we need to partner together and let's work together. I'm kind of waiting for that because they kind of teased up that a little bit with the host. Of all the different research from academic for AI, this is the one I'm particularly interested in to cover. And also, she is just a great speaker in terms of something so complex, but saying it in a way that I think is very approachable for everybody. What was your thoughts?
Very much the same. You do have to know something so deeply to be able to explain it simply, right? Those examples are great. I was so annoyed because I had a lot of great examples from ChatGPT and GPT 3.5, where I could easily make it be stupid just by asking, like, who is taller between two people? Like 4 out of 6 times it was wrong, right? Anything to do with logic or comparisons, some things over time. So I was very annoyed when GPT-4 came out and fixed all my look at GPT being stupid examples. I can still find them, but hers are more compelling. and it helps to understand, what's going on. There's a lot of talk in sort of the message boards about, like, well, if you ask it to then like critique its own answer, and then you have 2 AIs and one checks the other, and then a third one checks it. And I'm like, okay, these are all workarounds for an underlying problem that's becoming increasingly expensive to kind of put duct tape over, which is that without any symbolic reasoning under the hood at all, and just this idea of how do words string together usually, you're going to end up with really weird answers when it comes to logic. Yeah.
And the other thing that I just do is try to tell everyone possible that what it's doing is mimicking language patterns, that don't take it as a thinking, reasoning thing, but it is giving you some of the best patterns in language. So there were so many cool demos at ASU GSV. The one I was most excited about was ConMigo from Khan Academy. You better see
Mhm.
that screen share. So ConMigo is from Khan Academy, the new UI assistant slash tutor that Sal demonstrated at ASU GSV. You have to be on the waiting list. It is in beta, so it's not open to everyone. But you get on the waiting list, and if you come up on the waiting list, you can make a donation and get access to experience it in beta and provide mistakes. And I was super excited after seeing Sal's talk and demo at ASU GSV. So there is also a link to the video that we will include in the comments. But I got access about, I think, 2 weeks ago. We want to see, does it live up to the hype when we actually go use it, and not a demo that was scripted for the CEO? Is it as exciting? So this is inside Khan Academy. I have already logged in to ConMigo. You can see on the right corner here that it is beta, and it says my AI power is full. This is very cool. So this chat is logged. All right, so there's a whole bunch of activities on the left that you can try. Let's learn together through any of these activities that interest you. I like that this has a welcome. Welcome, I'm ConMigo. I use AI to help you learn. You can choose an activity or ask me to help you choose an activity. I can figure out what you should learn next. Just ask me. I'm still pretty new. Sometimes I make mistakes. If you catch a mistake, click thumbs down. You can also leave feedback. Okay, so let us just start with, what should I learn next? Let's focus on the fluids unit within AP College Physics 2 course, where you currently have 0% mastery. Now, to be fair, I put in I was interested in certain subjects when I registered for Khan Academy, most of them in AP. And I haven't done any of them, so I have 0 mastery. But I don't know. I'm not so much interested in this. Down here in the chat section where I can do this, it says type message, do not share any personal data. I do like this. That's a good reminder. I want to learn about how memory works. How will we do that? I don't like that one. I've ignored it. Oh, of course. No specific. You can explore the memory section of the psychology course. Oh, look at that. There's a link. That's cool. I was just thinking I should be a link. Oh, very cool. So that does move me to direct learning if I wanted to, which is good, but I have 0 patience for it. It tells me I should learn about it. Enjoy your learning journey. But I just have a few questions about memory. How is short-term memory different than long-term memory? So my terrible spelling notwithstanding, this is very realistic, I think. People mistyping everything. So, okay, so it does at least understand, even though I'm mistyping everything. Great question. They differ in several ways: duration, capacity, and encoding. Duration, wow, that's short, 20 to 30 seconds. Long-term lasts a lifetime. Capacity, capacity 7 plus or minus 2 items. That's pretty specific. Okay, I thought it was somehow 3 to 5, but 7, that seems better. Long-term memory, unlimited. Encoding information. Okay, so, and I linked to this. Okay, that's not too bad, but this doesn't make sense to me. There's such a large gap. There's such a large gap between short-term memory duration and long-term memory duration. What's in between? Am I confusing myself here. We're talking about 20 to 30 seconds between lifetime. Okay, there is a gap. Oh, it's working memory, an intermediate term. I didn't even know that. All right, that's cool. Extension of short-term memory that involves not only holding information temporarily, also processing, manipulating it. Working memory is crucial for tasks. Intermediate lasts longer, not as enduring. All right, I am already bored. You can tell that I am very, ooh, what is this? Ignite my curiosity. Let's, I always like to check this. How do you explain how you work? I don't know how don't you want to know how ConMigo works? Oh, wait, here we go, AI. Wait, I see, why isn't this working? I see why it's not working, because I clicked AI and it's busy giving me something that I don't want to know and I can't stop it. Dang it. All right, here we go. Now, explain how you work. That's what I want to know about. I operate using a combination of natural language processing, machine and deep learning. Oh, look at that, emojis. I like these, that's cute. In a nutshell, I've been trained on a lot of data, helps me understand and generate human-like responses. My training allows me to recognize patterns, contexts, and the intent behind your questions, and I generate a response that's no, I think this is good, although I like that it's asking me to suggest or asking if I want to get 5 more intriguing questions. But I want to, chat with a literary character. That's cool. Oh boy, who do I want to talk to? I want to talk to, my favorite. I got to talk to Winnie the Pooh. I want to talk to Winnie the Pooh. Oh, bother. Hello there, I'm Winnie the Pooh, a bear of very little brain, but I do love honesty and spending time with my friends in the 100-acre woods. It's a pleasure to meet you. What brings you to our neck of woods? You have a favorite spot? I want you to tell me your favorite story, Pooh. Oh, so many wonderful stories in the 100-acre wood, but one of my favorites is the time when we had a very blustery day. The wind was blowing so hard to knock poor little Piglet right off his feet. We all worked together to help Piglet. And in a grand party to celebrate our friendship, you see, it's not just the adventure that makes a story special, but the time spent with friends that truly warms my heart. Do you have a favorite memory or story that you cherish, perhaps one that involves your friends? One of my favorite memories is making up a story about our cats when we were little with my best friend. We would pretend that our cats went on adventures together. Do you have a pet? Do you like cats or dogs? That sounds like a delightful memory. It's always fun to imagine adventures with our furry friends. As for me, I don't have a pet of my own, but I do have many friends in the 100-acre wood. We have Tigger, who's always bouncing around, and Eeyore, who's a bit gloomy, but still a dear friend. There are no cats or dogs in our little corner of the world, but I'm sure they would be lovely to meet. What kind of adventures do your cats go on in your story? And did you and your friend ever create any special places for them to explore? Wow. Okay. I am totally engaged. I loved Pooh and I love Tigger. I want to talk to Tigger, but I think this is my favorite part of this in terms of the educational use case, where I can interact with stories. I can interact with characters. It suddenly becomes interactive, not learning, but creating adventures together. Okay, I am still, despite a few UI issues that I would like for it to be better, I love this. I think this can really reignite curiosity in kids and learning, and not just kind of listen to lectures, but becoming really active and engaged. Awesome. I am fully sold. As you mentioned earlier, it's all in the user experience. There's definitely tweaks that can make it even better. It's already amazing if you look at the demo.
And
sure. Okay, your favorite wacky AI idea or startup?
This is still my favorite. I want to make a dating app where instead of people having to do the chatting themselves, each person on the dating site trains their own chatbot on their chat history. You go off, you let your bot go off with a goal. So you're like, whether you want to date on Friday, you want to hook up, you need a date for a wedding, whatever. But the chatbots, you don't actually ever chat to a human on this, right? So guys are constantly annoyed that these sites are full of chatbots. Women are annoyed with all the attention and feeling like, oh, I got to chat with all these people. So the women don't have to chat with anyone anymore, have that pressure. The men know everyone's a bot and are not putting extra effort into communicating with bots unnecessarily or being duped. But if the chatbots do agree on a goal, right, then the two of you get sent a notification, you review the chat, and you decide if you really want to go and meet in person and do the thing. Your chatbot's agreed for you. So I like this idea of like agent-based. I want a dating agent who will go out and do it for me.
So this is like iTinder.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm naming it iTinder.
I like it.
I believe Tinder is like down the way from me, and I know one of the senior engineers. Let's see if we can get that idea.
Well, maybe you could have like a father, like an uncle figure who decides he really knows what's best for you and makes sure only certain bots get to talk to your bot. I don't know. It could go a lot of ways.
Oh my God. There's a reality TV show about Indian matchmaker, because
Mm-hmm.
people been I'm like, so we can do an AI version of that. Yours I think yours definitely is gonna win this time. My quick one, I was looking through recommended new tools. This one is called opinionate.io. I haven't played with it, to be fair, but just the tagline got me, which is an AI bot that will argue with you about any topic. I know. I'm like, wait, is there like a devil's advocate mode? Like there has to be different modes for how it argues with you, like the sarcastic argument or the Socratic method or I think I haven't played with it, but if that is, I would be entertained as heck and go debate everything and just pull it up in high school debate or English and just the kids come up and just debate it out, pick any topic. I think
there's a classic Monty Python sketch where he goes in and pays for an argument. No, you haven't. No, I just paid. No, you haven't. I hope it's a little more nuanced.
There has to be a Monty Python mode.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right, you just leveled up my wacky idea. I think that's exactly what we're here for.
I think it's been a fantastic first AI After Hours, and we look forward to many more.
Absolutely. May the 5th be with you.
May the 5th. See you later.